Hey guys, welcome to the coffee video. Now, if we turn right and we come over here, we find the coffee section. Yeah. Names of our coffees: latte, cappuccino, flat white, espresso, long black. We're gonna make each of these coffees throughout this video, but let's start with a quick example of me just making a coffee, specifically a small cappuccino with 3 sugars for takeaway. I'm gonna do a quick example and then I'm gonna break it down later in the video. So I grab the coffee handle and I clean it. Make sure it's really clean and dry. I put some coffee grind into the handle. Very good. Now I spread it out. And make sure there's none on top. And then I use this little tool to flatten the coffee bean and push it in so it's nice and tight. I then lift it up and turn right, and that means it's stuck to the machine. Remember, it's a small cappuccino, so I grab a small cup and I press the first button. Now the coffee is coming out, and while that's happening, I grab the milk because we want a hot coffee, so we need to heat up the milk. I put just enough milk that I need for the coffee, and now I use this little gadget called the steamer to start warming it up and making it hot. When I cannot touch it anymore, that means it's ready. When it's too hot to touch with my right hand, that means it's ready and I can turn the machine off. I tap the container to make sure that there's no bubbles on top. And right now, I'm pouring the milk in just freely. There's no technique to the pour, you just pour it in. And I only poured it halfway, so then I put the sugars in, 3 spoons of sugar, and now I mix it. See, if I put it all the way to the top and I started to mix it, then the milk's gonna go all over the place. That's why if there's sugar in the coffee, I just put it halfway and then I stir the sugar. Put some chocolate powder because a cappuccino has chocolate powder, and then I finish the rest with the milk. And that's a beautiful small cappuccino with 3 sugars. But because it's takeaway, we have to put a lid. So we grab a small size lid and we pop it on top. And that is a small cappuccino ready to enjoy. Over here, I'll show you the cup sizes. We have 2 sizes. This is the small cup and lid. And here is the large cup and the large lid. It's all in the same section. 2 sizes only, small and large. Yeah. Over here we have a tray. So if a customer orders 2, 3, or 4 coffees, we can put it into this tray and it fits right in, just like that. And we can send them off with that. For dining in, Some people prefer the coffee in a porcelain cup. So just on top of the coffee machine, this is a small dine-in cup and plate. And just right behind it, we use the same plate. That's a large cup dine-in plate. Excuse me. Over here, we have the sugar. And right behind it is the brown sugar. Some people like brown sugar. And this little blue thingy is a sweetener. So it's a sweetener, but there's no sugar in it. Some people prefer that. Some people prefer it for health reasons. These are the coffee handles. We have two. That's a single one. And this one is a double one. So we use the double one for like 2 coffees, and we use a single one for 1 coffee. To put the handle in, we just lift it up, make sure it's all the way up, and then we pull it to the right, and we make sure it's nice and tight. Let's make a coffee. So we have to empty the old coffee and bang it on that little rod. Boom. And maybe we need to use more power. You can tap it a few times. And now there's little residue and it's a little bit wet. So you want to get it dry. So we grab a tissue and we just dry it all the way across. And there's usually a few specks of coffee. We'll just give it one final tap. Make sure it's nice and clean. That's it. Yeah. Let's add some coffee grind into the handle. This is our grinder. Those are the beans, and it grinds the beans into little coffee grind. But right now we have not enough coffee, so we just press this button and it starts grinding the coffee bean, as you can see. It's very common for the machine to get stuck, and that's completely natural. When the machine gets stuck like this, you just have to shake this little thing here in and out, and it starts grinding again. Yeah, perfect. So let's get back to making our coffee. I'll just turn it off because we have enough grind. Yeah. So we insert it into this area here. It fits perfectly right in there. And then we pull the lever a few times. We just want to fill it up all the way with no gaps. And for example, that this is definitely too much. So we use this technique with the finger to take the extra off. And we put the extra just right there in that little plate with the grind. And that's exactly how we want it. Next, we use the little tool. We place the handle on the table and push that little tool into the grind to make it nice and tight. And there's always a little bit extra after you do it. You just use the same finger technique to make it nice and clean, and lift it up and pull to the right. Next, we grab a small cup, place it underneath, and press the first button. And that is the first step to making a small latte. It's the first shot of coffee. And the first shot of coffee is done. Whenever you heat up milk and make it really hot, it always creates two ingredients, creamy milk and milk. So we're gonna heat up the milk right now in the milk jug. I'm gonna show you. And all you have to do is pour it into the cup and both of these ingredients will go in. Let me show you. So this is the milk jug and we fill it up 40% from the bottom. Here's the milk fridge. You can find milk in there. If there's a little bit of milk in there from the previous coffee, you can just leave it and use it. Okay, here is our steamer. We have to be careful because it could be very hot. This is how we turn it on and off. On, off. Sorry, I booped. Don't hold it like this. You can burn your hand. Hold it like this. Place the steamer in the milk in the center and make sure you're not holding it so your hand burns. And we're going to use our other hand to feel the milk. So when it gets too hot for your hand and you can't touch the jug anymore, it's just too hot, that's how you know it's ready. So I'm feeling it, it's warming up, getting hotter. I can still touch it though. Now it's getting harder to touch. And yeah, that's too much. Sorry, that's perfect. It's just, after you can't touch it with your fingers, that's how you know it's already ready. Tap, tap for any extra bubbles to go away. We get a wet cloth and wipe the steamer. Yeah, so after steaming the milk, it has both of these ingredients already naturally. So all you have to do is pour it in. And as you can see, the top of that white area, that's the cream. And there you have it. That's a latte. And yeah, it's very popular. All right, let's start from the beginning. Let's make a small latte with 2 brown sugars for takeaway. I'm going to explain it less and less. I just want to show you. And you can also use this part of the machine to pat it down. It's a bit quicker. And I'm just doing it like as I normally do with the speed. I'm not slowing it down. 2 brown sugars. Press the button. And as the coffee's pouring, that's going to take time. So I don't like to waste time. I start making the milk straight away. 40% of the way, start steaming. Holding the steamer until I can't touch it anymore. Yep. And done. Wiping the steamer. Coffee's ready. So remember there's sugar in there. So we stir the sugar before we fill it up all the way. Because if we fill it up all the way and then we stir, the coffee can go all over. And then we finish it off and we're done. That's a small latte with 2 brown sugars for takeaway. So we have done a latte, and next up we're gonna do cappuccino and flat white. The latte and the cappuccino are the exact same coffee. The only difference is the cappuccino has a bit of chocolate powder on top. That's the only difference. So latte and cappuccino, same thing. Cappuccino has a bit of chocolate powder on top. So after we finish, you will do that. The flat white is the same thing as the latte, but it has less creamy milk. And I'm going to show you how to make that. Okay, so example 2, I'm going to use a double coffee handle because I need to make 2 coffees in this example. A large cappuccino with 3 sugars for takeaway, and a small flat white with no sugar for takeaway. Same process, up and then close it tightly. I grab a large cup and a small cup. And the large cappuccino has 3 sugars. So I put 3 sugars into the large cup. And then I press the third button, which is for 2 coffees. It's 2 single shots. And instead of the small jug, we use the large jug. But it's still the same amount of milk. It's about 40% of milk. And that should be good enough for 2 coffees. Everything's the same. I'm still touching until it gets too hot. And we're done. Okay, so let's start with the flat white. The flat white is the same thing as a latte, but it just has less cream or less creamy milk. So all we have to do is put this spoon here to block the cream, and just the milk comes out. And that's it. So that has much more milk and much less cream. And cappuccino, same thing. You just pour it and everything comes, both of those ingredients come out. And again, I only filled it up halfway to mix the sugar first and then fill it up all the way. And over here is the chocolate powder. And now it's a cappuccino. Yeah. And we can just put it on a tray for the customer to take away. Yeah. So that's a latte, a cappuccino, flat white. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make an espresso and a long black. It's really easy. So remember, latte has milk, and espresso is just a shot of coffee. And the long black is just a shot of coffee with hot water. So, let's make a small espresso with no sugar for dine-in. So we grab a small dine-in cup. Get some coffee grind, pat it down and put it in. And press the first button. We get a plate ready. I just sped it up because it takes a bit of time. And look at that. This is my favorite coffee, by the way. And that's it. That's an espresso. Next up, let's make a small long black with 2 sweeteners for takeaway. And again, it's up to you. You can use this little tool or you can use the tool on the grinder to pat it down. Doesn't matter. Let's get the small cup and put 2 sweetener tablets in there. So we tap it twice, make sure it comes out. And yeah, it's in there. And then we press the button. Speeding it up. Okay. Next up, we put it underneath that one, and that has hot water. And we twist the knob on the left, and we fill it up about 75% of the way. Yeah. And next up, we have to stir the sweetener. And put the lid on. And that's it.